Hello, I'm Laura McHarrie at The Hidden Edge with another tea break tip on how to use business models and tools to help you manage your growing business. Today, we're looking at business process mapping. Business process mapping is the procedure of describing exactly how a business carries out its activities. It maps the procedures, defining who does what, who's responsible for what, and the measurements of success in an illustration. From the definitions that are being created, a business process illustration is produced, and it defines the process through the inputs and the outputs and the activities that are done in order to accomplish those outputs. So what do I mean by a chart or a map or a flow chart? Well, this is a simple process map. It has a start and a finish. It has a process. It has decisions that need to be made, yes or no, and actions that come out from those decisions. Of course, most process maps aren't as simple as this, but in principle, the processes, the questions and decisions and the actions that come from it are the starting point for any procedure. Why do we want to do this in any case? Well, process mapping gives you the tools and techniques to understand, analyse and document processes and activities. It helps to identify the opportunities for improvement. It displays sequential steps in converting an input to a required output. It understands the work process, the resource allocation, and any training needs. It helps you identify the removal of non-value added complexities and constraints. It helps identify efficiencies and systems that can support the process. Illustrate as it is now and what you would like it to be. It can establish a shared knowledge base. And it helps analyse and develop specific areas for improvement and for future change initiatives. There is, or are, 4 steps to the process. First of all is to identify the trigger, the process in identification. What are we trying to map as part of this? We need to attain a full understanding of all the steps of a process. We need to gather information about that particular process, identifying the objectives, the risks, and any key controls within a process. When we've gathered all of the surrounding information, we can bring people together that have an insight into the process or procedure itself. And that's when we can start mapping what it currently looks like. Really useful to gather around flip chart paper or a roll of brown paper with my infamous post-it notes. Those sticky notes can be easily moved when you find that you maybe have missed an area of a process and you need to add something else in. Bringing other people's points of view into this means you're less likely to miss out an aspect of a process or procedure that you're trying to map. And then, of course, once you've mapped it, the ultimate is to analyse it. Here you might use various different tools to help you analyse where you're in with your process map, but we're looking for redundant activities. We're looking for delays between steps, unnecessary process steps, roles or responsibility ambiguities, bottlenecks in the process, or backlogs indeed. Those endless do loops where rework is quite common. Activity time, where there's a lapse of time to complete a given step, or cycle time, the total time elapsed from the beginning to the end. And activity flows that go back and forth repeatedly between players in the process. So quite often useful to segment and group the steps of the process map and select an appropriate measure for each segment. So you start to build a bigger map and a bigger picture when you combine those processes together. At this stage, I don't want to make it any more complex than we've already looked at, because this is a simple explanation of how to consider process mapping. So there you go, you have that simple explanation. Do download the templates from the Hidden Edge website and have a go. You can share your stories there too. I'm building a portfolio of small business case studies and would love to include examples of what has worked well for you in your business now or in the past. So that's it from me on business process mapping, part 1. Until next time, happy tea break.